estimating cost. So it is the process of developing an approximation of the monetary resources needed to complete project activities. So the inputs are many, as you can see. In here, we'll see also what there will be rough order of magnitude estimates, definitive estimates, and those kind of definitions we'll see in subsequent slides. The first input, cost management plan, which is obvious coming from the first process, plan cost management. Then you have human resource management plan. This is important because this will have the information about the resources. Staffing attributes will be there, personnel rates, etc. will be there, and maybe some reward recognition related information will be there, which will help us in developing activity cost estimates, rather project cost estimates, right? Then a scope baseline consists of three things: project scope statement, which will have direct cost, indirect cost. We'll see again in subsequent slides. I think subsequent slides are explaining inputs also. So, okay. So what I'll do is I'll just read out that estimate cost has cost management, these scope baseline. I'll tell you what is the important thing in the here. From estimating cost perspective, of course, the scope baseline is most important. Other are also important, but scope baseline will give you work breakdown structure, and it will have the all the activities listed in WBS dictionary. So those activities will be estimated using these tools and techniques, including expert judgment, analogous estimating, parametric estimating, which we covered yesterday. Okay, I think first three were covered, 3 was covered, reserve analysis was covered, project management software, and group decision. So rest of the tools and techniques which are not covered, which we'll cover here. Okay, so and the output of which is activity cost estimate. So each and every individual activity related cost estimate will be there. So yesterday, going by yesterday's example, we were talking about one of the login as work package, login feature as a work package, which has design activity, develop activity, then then testing, and maybe completing it, rework and completing. So these are the 4 activities. So for each design activity, what will be the cost? So that cost will become will be updated in project document update as an activity attribute. So every cost related to activity, that's what we'll do. So a lot of people think now, if I know the activity cost, I can just aggregate it and I can get it done. Essentially, I'm done. But for that, we have next process, which is essentially determine budget, which will aggregate, and it will do a few further analysis before we do the aggregation, and hence it will have the appropriate tools and technique. And that is the reason it is estimating cost and the next process, that is determining budget. These two are different processes. Then basis of estimate, whether I have used analogous estimating along with parametric estimating, these two are combined together, or bottom-up estimating and 3-point estimate, they are combined together. And so what was the basis of estimate? Which tools and technique I use? Why it is being selected for the project? And all those output you will put in basis of estimate document, and you will update the project document updates like cost management plan. As we are aware of, all the management plan are subsidiary plan of project management plan. So this also goes back to your project management plan or become a part of project management plan, and project document updates with respect to. So we know that one of the activity list is the project document, activity attribute is the project document, risk register, and so on. So as appropriate, those documents will get updated. Okay. Now we'll see one by one in subsequent slides because they're already listed over there. So these are the inputs for estimating cost. Organization process set. These are the following internal policies processes are used: cost estimating policies, cost estimating templates, then historical information, project files, prior similar project data will be used from organization process asset as an input. Then project scope baseline, which is essentially combination of three documents: project scope statement, work breakdown structure, and WBS dictionary. So this together helps us in estimating the cost for the activity. So WBS dictionary will have the work packages also. All the components will be there. You'll go for work packages. In work packages, you will go for activities. In activities, you'll start estimating the cost, right? Then human resource plan. Key resources are always on demand and have to be allocated and deallocated at the appropriate time. Since the project is part of larger organization, you may be using key resources. You need to allocate and deallocate as appropriate, which is part of human resource plan. So you will come to know who, from other projects, which are the key resources are getting available for your project, and you will estimate the cost accordingly. It may impact your cost essentially, the availability and non-availability. The risk register, whenever you have risk, when you identify risk is one of the process which gives you risk register. Risk register will, when you have a risk, you may generate a response plan which will add to the cost. So it will be activity based. If you are having a response plan activity based or work package based, accordingly the cost will get added to your those individual activities. So your when you estimate cost for the activity, the risk response plan related activity cost will get added and it will increase essentially. And it is not always, risk is not always negative. At times there could be opportunity in reducing the cost. When we visit risk, that for example I can tell you is when we were planning for the project and there is a risk, that positive risk, that highly skilled resource will be available for project duration. So it's a risk in the opportunity in the sense if he becomes available, you can reduce the cost. I mean, using him will reduce your project budget substantially. So that's what you will do. Then enterprise environmental factors. We have sole source, single source, then oligopoly. Oligopoly is a few sellers are there, so they can form a cartel and increase the rates to to such an extent that it becomes very difficult for you to get a competitive prices. So essentially it is against competition they can do. So those conditions will impact your project cost. Then publish commercial information like labor rates and material rates and equipment renting rates and so on. Types of project expenses could be direct cost, indirect cost, variable cost, and fixed cost. So we'll go one by one. Direct cost is any cost that can be attributed directly to the project activity is a direct cost. Indirect cost is a cost which cannot be attributed directly to your project. So for example, you have management overhead is one of the example. Then other example is let's say you're taking help from legal. So since legal is shared function across various projects, you cannot quantify it easily into the project cost. So how do you do it? you usually take, let's say 10 projects are going on, so 10% of, and all are, equal, which is not the case, but so you will assume 10% of that person's salary cost, or whatever team of expert you are using, that salary cost, their salary cost can become your indirect cost. Similar to management overhead, which is top management, which guides you, which provides you with all the kinds of resources required to conduct the project, with kind of expertise that is required. They may not be directly contributing to the project, but bringing the project in, and there will be a lot of other costs. So their salary, for example, that is what we call management overhead, becomes an indirect cost. Going to variable cost and fixed cost. So if I'm buying a equipment, that will be a fixed cost. I mean, whether it doesn't vary over the period of time. But same equipment, if I rent it for a duration, it becomes the variable cost. So that is the difference. So the amount of period for which you are using that resource can be a variable cost. So that is the example of types of project expenses. Then estimates have various level of accuracy depending on so based on the project life cycle stage, you will have various level of accuracy for estimation. So one of which a rough order, very initial estimation, a rough order of magnitude, also called ROM a lot of times, ROM, ROM, the first initial ROM, ROM. So this is used during initial estimation, and it is as big as minus 25% to 75%. So if you're saying 100 as a cost, the variance is from 75 to 175. So that is kind of rough order of magnitude estimates you can do at the initial stages, wherein a lot of no tools and techniques, and it just a ballpark figure is another name that we use. Then budget estimate, this is early stage of planning, so which is minus 10% to 25% variance. Then definitive estimate, it is more accurate or most accurate. So WBS is required to create this, so minus 5% to 10%. So once you are done with WBS, and once you do all the proper tool, instead of using let's say there are different tools and techniques, right, that we saw. So instead of using analogous, you are using bottom up or parametric or 3-point. You may get estimate which is more definitive in nature. So definitive estimate is not only with respect to WBS being performed and all, but when you're usually WBS is an important point, because over the period of time you have more detailed information available, and that helps you in estimating the cost accurately. That's all there is. So I have seen definitive estimate being mentioned in PMBOK edition 5 with minus 5 to 10%. ROM is also mentioned minus 25 to 75%. From PMP examination perspective, these will come as a question, and you may have to remember these figures for ROM and definitive. Budget, I don't see remember seeing this, but you may check it out. Yeah. So going on to the next one, analogous estimating. So this is a technique that uses analogy to arrive at estimate. I'm going to just read it out because we have already done these most of these tools when we visited estimating activity duration. So that time also I told, but anyway, bottom-up estimating, estimate for the project is arrived at by estimating the cost of work packages, activities, then work packages, and then rolling them up. We'll see the bottom-up estimating, even figuratively also, in subsequent slides. Parametric estimating, statistical relationship between the historical data and essentially variables such as lines of, let's say, complexity, then number of features and so on. Those are the things that can be used to establish a statistical relationship which will be more accurate compared to analogous. As I said earlier, analogous is less accurate, but it is faster to arrive at and easier to perform. Then bottom-up estimating, of course, it will take more time, but will be more accurate. Project management software also helps you. So spreadsheet and schedule graphing tools are widely used to arrive at estimates, because that ensures that you don't miss a few things when you're using any other tool. Because graphical representation helps you in ensuring that all the WBS elements are considered. Then vendor bid analysis. Bids sent in by various vendors are evaluated and the costs are used to estimate the final cost of the project. So all the vendors who are going to perform the part of project or maybe complete project, we will evaluate their bids and their cost can be used. So let's say we have 4 components. The component 2 is being performed by your vendor. So we'll have to use that vendor's cost estimate to add to your project. So that's what we use it in vendor bid analysis. Reserve analysis, as I said last time also we discussed, it is with respect to contingency reserve, which is known unknowns, and management reserve, which is unknown unknown. That also is going to get discussed in subsequent slide in terms of graphical thing. So just wait for that moment. So, but that is also covered, but that's what is going to get covered again. Cost of quality. Cost of quality is usually cost of conformance plus cost of non-conformance. So when I talk about cost of quality, it is about cost of conformance. So any activity in order to conform with the project requirement and ensuring that conformance is there. So all those activities will have the cost, and those costs will be considered as cost of conformance, and which is usually preventive in nature and inspective in nature. And non-conformance is rework, scrap, and all those things, which will be seen in more detail when we cost of quality is one of the tool and technique in project quality management, and that's where we'll see the cost of quality also. So next is activity cost estimates. In this, you have quantitative assessment of likely cost of resources that are needed to complete the assigned task. So when we are talking about resources, it is all the 3/4 types that or categories that we keep on talking about: human, material, equipment, and basically these are the 3, and supplies, the 4th one, the category. Then basis of estimates, additional details used to support the activity cost estimates, which kind of tools and techniques used, and any other supporting activity, any other details that support the activity cost estimates. Then project documents update, if the estimation activity resulted in approved change request to the cost management plan, and any other reasons by which I'll tell you project document. One of the project document is activity attribute that gets updated because now you know the activity related attribute which is cost also, activity cost also. So that's about it.